everyone. But since we are getting closer to St. Patrick's Day, I would like to attempt to do a Irish soda bread. I'm going to do a keto version of the Irish soda bread, so it's a healthier version. It's low glycemic index, low carb. So let's get started. I want to talk to you about some of the dry ingredients first. So this is 2 eggs that I just mixed up. This is 3 tablespoons of heavy cream with a half a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And what that does is it makes a homemade buttermilk. So if you don't have buttermilk on hand, you don't have to buy a whole big thing of buttermilk. Just grab yourself some heavy cream. I use 3 tablespoons and I put about a half a tablespoon in, and then I mix it up and I let it sit so it forms that buttermilk. I like to do that first. Then preheat the oven. My oven's already preheated. So let's get started with our dry ingredients. So what are we going to use? So I'm allergic to actually almond flour. So I am going to use cashew flour because I have no allergies to that. For the cashew flour, I'm going to use about 1.25 cups to 1.5 cups of cashew flour. I usually use about 1.25 cups. So I like to use 1/4 cup measuring, a measuring spoon just to make it easier for me to measure out. And, you know, it could be a little bit over, it can't be fully over. So that's 1, 2, 3. 4 and 1 more. And then I'm going to add to that 3 tablespoons of coconut flour. So I'm going to open up my Anthony's coconut flour. I actually like a lot of the Anthony's products. I'm not sponsored by Anthony's, but I find that they have very good quality, they're organic, no GMOs or genetically modified items in it. So yay, Anthony's. So let's go ahead and put in 3 tablespoons of coconut flour. So that's 1. 2, 3. To that, I'm also going to add a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda. So let me just get my teaspoon out. Make sure it's level. So that's the baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I usually add about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I am looking for my salt. It is a green, there it is, okay. And now you're going to ask me, well, what are you going to use to sweeten this since it is low glycemic index? I am going to use a Erythritol monk fruit sweetener, and again, it's by Anthony's. It is safe for baking, and it's very good for people who also might have diabetes or need to be on a low glycemic diet. So I'm going to add a full tablespoon of the sweetener. To that, I will add raisins. I know raisins is going to be very controversial for anyone who is on keto, but this is only 1 ounce of raisins for the entire soda bread. If you don't want to put the raisins in, you don't have to, but since I've been a little girl, we have always had raisins in our Irish soda bread. It wouldn't be soda bread for me without raisins, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. That is Winston, my English bulldog. And I'm going to go ahead and put in a tablespoon of caraway seeds too. I'm going to mix up all of my dry ingredients, and then I'll go ahead and put in the wet ingredients. So I'm just gonna mix it up with a fork. This is a great recipe in the sense that you don't need a hand mixer or a stand mixer. Although I do have a stand mixer, I just don't need to bust it out for this. And I always like to add vanilla in. So my wet ingredients are, you know, the heavy cream with the apple cider vinegar, my 2 eggs, I have a tablespoon of butter, and I have vanilla. And I don't add more than a tablespoon of butter because I pre-grease my dish with butter. I use Kerrygold, and I put some extra Kerrygold on the bottom so that it bakes into the soda bread. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and grab my vanilla, and I'm gonna put my vanilla into my melted butter. I just used about a tablespoon of butter that I melted. It could be 2. And then I'm going to add to it a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm then going to add in all of my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients and give it a mix. That's my vanilla and butter mixture. This is my heavy cream and apple cider vinegar mixture. And my eggs. Then I'm just going to mix it all together and put it into my baking dish. And after that, I usually put a cross on top and bake it at 350 for about 25 to 28 minutes. You know, I like it to be golden brown. Right now I'm just mixing all my ingredients together thoroughly to form, you know, my soda bread dough. And then I'm just gonna put that into my baking dish. Now I like to spread it out so that it bakes a little bit more evenly, and put a cross into it because it helps it to vent, but also it's an Irish tradition that you always have a cross in your soda bread. I just need a knife. Thank you. So I'm just going to use the knife to score my cross in my bread. And that is it. We will put this in the oven at 350 for about 25 to 28 minutes. You'll see us when it's done. Okay, so our soda bread is out of the oven. I'm just gonna lift it up for you so you can see it's golden brown on top and on the edges. I'm gonna let this rest for about 10 minutes. I'm then gonna take it out of the container or the baking pan and plate it. and we will put on some monk fruit and erythritol powder. Is it erythritol or erythritol? I don't know. Comment down below if you know. But I use, again, Anthony's. It's a confectioner's sugar. When it's cool, we'll put that on and we'll give it a try. Bye. Okay, well, we are back, and I already have I plated my soda bread. It's really, really easy. This is one of the recipes where you don't need to put line it with any kind of baking paper or anything. You just put it in as long as you've greased the pan well. I usually, after the 10 minutes, loosen the edges with a knife. I flip it over in my hand and then I flip it onto the plate. It's that easy. So let's go ahead and use some of our confectioner's sugar or confectioner's monk fruit and erythritol powder. Again, if I said it wrong, I apologize. And we're just gonna, I usually like to use it like a little sifter on top just to make it light. I don't like to have big globs of it all over the place. I'm just gonna take about a tablespoon and put it into my sifter and just kind of gently tap so that you have that snow-covered sprinkling of the confectioner's sugar on your Irish soda bread. I just think it adds just something extra special to the bread, and it makes it a little bit more enjoyable, especially for children, because the bread is not sweet or super sweet. And of course, what goes better with soda bread than tea? I have a cup of Barry's Irish tea in my Ray Dunn Kiss Me I'm Irish mug. That's Winston again. Want to see Winston? Where's Winston? Say hi, Winston. He's such a little stinker, isn't he? Winston and Teddy. But anyway, we'll slice this up and we'll give it a try, okay? Bye. All right, so I sliced it up. I already took a bite. I could not wait. I have some Kerrygold butter on mine. It is delicious and it goes great with my Barry's tea. Again, not sponsored. It's just an Irish tea. I also there's an Irish Clipper tea that's really good as well. I gave the other half to my niece. What do you think, Sissy?
I think it's delicious. It tastes exactly like soda bread.
And it is low carb, low glycemic index. So just because you go keto or you're on a low carb, low glycemic diet doesn't mean you have to suffer and that you won't enjoy life anymore. You just have to find another way to be healthy and enjoy the old recipes that you used to have. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and like, share, and subscribe.